Whitewater, Wisconsin's passenger depot ended train service in 1951. We still have freight trains that come through here nowadays, however. So what happened to the passenger depot? I think you're going to find some very interesting information to feed on. Come on and join me. While the Whitewater Passenger Depot laid vacant in the late 1950s, Joe Wallenton of Whitewater saw a real business opportunity in the use of the building. Its proximity to the railroad tracks and freight trains was the perfect place to start as Wallington's feed and garden supply store. Carol Cartwright, president and curator of the Whitewater Historical Society, explains that interesting transition.
So the railroad maintained ownership, and they still had a telegraph office in the station office here in the building, but they put it out for rental. And after a few years, the Wallington family put their feed store in here, and that was here for about 10 years. It was the late 50s to the late 60s, I believe. But it specialized in getting feed for farmers, and they would get that feed by the railroad carload. And in fact, the Wallington family gave us a couple of pictures showing a day when the farmers were lined up with their trucks to get feed right off the rail cars.
Wallington's business escalated to the point where he was commended for truly stimulating the dairy business production in the Whitewater region, including the arrival of 7 freight cars of milk popper dairy feed concentrate. But, like most businesses, Wallington's feed and garden supply store eventually closed. And so the depot sat vacant again and started deteriorating. So who do we thank for saving the depot?
The Milwaukee Road was going through all sorts of economic problems of its own by that time. They were starting to sell off their facilities. So a number of people got together and had a kind of save the depot movement. The Historical Society, which actually had been founded in 1946, never had a permanent place. They had collected a number of things, but they really needed a place where they could put their collections out and have an actual museum.
In the summer of 1974, the Whitewater Historical Museum opened to the public. Now, not only can visitors see many miscellaneous and interesting historical Whitewater artifacts of the past, but they can also transport themselves back to the passenger depot age of trains.
Coming through the Whitewater Street side doors, people would come in, and if they were waiting for someone to get off the train, they could sit and wait. Or the first thing they would do would be to go to the ticket window, which is over here, and it connects to the train agent's office. And he was almost always a he, would sell a ticket for wherever someone wanted to go.
Okay, so I pick up a ticket here.
Right.
Wait here for the train.
Take a bench, take a seat,
And then
wait for the train.
we'd go out this door then.
And then you go out this door.
To the track.
Right, to the track. And there used to be a much larger platform that would go almost up to the tracks, because, you know, the train steps were higher, so they wanted it to be closer to the train so you could just step up into the train. And when the passengers arrived here in Whitewater, they were always met by a good old-fashioned Whitewater welcome, first created by the original architect, John T.W. Jennings, right up there.
Pretty cool, isn't it?
The passenger depot never really forgets its train routes either. Through the years, many mainstays have connected themselves to this special spot. Between 1996 and 2003, around Independence Day, the Circus World Museum in Baraboo would load up its collection of historic circus wagons onto a special July 4th celebration train and head toward Milwaukee for the parade. The train would stop here at the depot in Whitewater on its way to Milwaukee for all of the town to see and explore. And speaking of Independence Day, the depot is also the gateway to the July 4th festivities each year down at the Cravath Lakefront Park.
And one of the major staples here in Whitewater during the summertime is the pastime of visiting Saturdays and Tuesdays city markets and farmers markets. Here you can get vegetables galore, you can listen to great music, and most importantly, you can eat really good homemade stuff.
And here we are. Believe it or not, the Whitewater Historical Society will be celebrating its 50th year anniversary at the depot in 2024. So after 50 years, is there anything else the Historical Society would still like to do in its future?
So we're hoping to do something digital where someone with that smartphone that they can put up to the wall and they can get something maybe a little more interactive on their phone.
From no passageway in the 1800s to the laying down of track. From passenger rail service to its subsequent demise. From a feed store and telegraph station to a now wonderful Whitewater Historical Museum and gathering place for the farmers market. This depot carries on the traditions, old and new, for a very special Whitewater landmark.